Okay. Are they going to project mine?
Mayank is taking the lead on projection, so we can just direct Mayank.
Okay, I just want the PPT to be shared on the screen.
Ma'am, it is already been shared on the screen.
Shared on the screen.
Yes.
So you can just start the session and Mayank will take care of the navigation.
Right.
I'm not able to see the screen, right?
But I can see the PPT.
You can see? Okay, it's not visible in my screen. I don't know what happened. Okay.
Ma'am, you just try to refresh the page.
Okay. Reload. Refresh. Okay, still I can see the heading, I can see, but time management for increased this one.
Yes, ma'am. So you can start. I'll change the slide.
Correct.
Yes.
I'll start from here. Yeah, very good evening to all of you. My name is Rajalakshmi. I have my co-speaker, Ms. Roopa. And today we are going to bring before you how to manage your time in order to increase your productivity or improve your productivity, right? If you see, all of us are struggling with one thing these days, that is, we have lot many tasks to complete, but we don't have the time to complete it, right? Everybody is struggling with it, whether it is you, me, or whoever it is. Anybody you name, they are still managing, somehow coping with completing the task within the given time, right? So let us discuss what are the tips and tricks. We are not going to say something new. You may know about it, but we are trying to revise or revive your thoughts on how to improve the your time so that you can complete your task. So let us go to the next screen, Mike. Now the learning goals for today is, now we'll discuss the factors, what are the factors you need to consider when managing your time, the first thing, and quantify how your current time, how you're spending your time currently, how you're managing your time currently, and identify the task which needs to be prioritized. Out of the 10 tasks you plan for a particular day, you may want to prioritize them so that you want to finish one task first, then pick up the second, third, fourth. So you can prioritize work that will help you to some extent finish your task on time, and also describe the various time management strategies which you can follow in order to complete your task, whatever you plan for the day, right? So let us, in the coming slides, we will see how we can do these things. Go to the next slide, mine. Now our life today, if you see, everybody is struggling to manage their time. Okay, everybody keeps saying, काश मेरे पास 24 घंटे के जगह 48 hours होता तो मैं ये काम complete कर पाता. Okay, we all been cribbing about we are not able to finish the task within the given time. जितना time हमारे पास है, उस time के अंदर हम पूरा काम कर नहीं पाते हैं. So this is what we are being talking about. Unable to complete the work in hand because we don't plan it. Sometimes हम अपना पूरा task जो सोच के आते हैं कर नहीं पाते हैं because we don't plan it. Our planning is there in the mind, but हम implement करते हैं तो कुछ ना कुछ छूट जाता है. So how to plan it properly so that we achieve most of it. अगर 10 में सोच के आती हूँ, कम से कम I finish at least 8 tasks out of it. Too many things to do at one time. Multiple tasks आपके पास आ जाता है. You sometimes keep ट्रैक लूज हो जाता है ट्रैक आपका, and you tend to incomplete the task which you plan. And working continuously from the morning till evening, so आप सुबह से काम किए जा रहे हो without going for any coffee break or a chai break or a lunch break, then you tend to lose track of things and sometimes आपका काम अधूरा रह जाता है, incomplete होता है. So how we manage all these things, you know, in between थोड़ा बहुत टाइम भी चाहिए to eat your food or take a cup of coffee or tea. At the same time, you have to finish your task also. How do we do that? We will see in some of the tips what we have come up with, right? So, you all agree with me, you can do anything, okay? Every task is possible, but you can't do everything. Okay, so this is a saying that you can do anything, but not everything. कहीं ना कहीं कुछ ना कुछ sometimes रह जाता है because of want of time, right? So let us go without wasting time. Let us go to the tip number 1, what you have to do. Next slide, mind. I am in the 5th slide. Now tip number 1 here, schedule everything. For example, tomorrow is an important day for you at the office. Whatever you have to do, whatever your task is, start planning it. Put it down on a piece of paper, write it down on a piece of paper. These days you don't even have to use the paper, you have the mobile phone जिसपे आप notes बना सकते हो. We have that notepad kind of thing in every mobile phone. You can put it down or you can mark it in your calendar even in the mobile phone, and you can even set a reminder at a particular time कि मुझे ये काम इस समय में करना है, remind me to do that. So the alarm will ring that you have to finish your task at this time, so it gives you a reminder. So scheduling everything is very important in order to see that you finish most of it within that given time in the during the day. Go to the next slide, mind. So block your time for everything in the calendar or in the notepad. You plan your day, start writing what are the tasks you want to do for the day, and allocate time for blocking time का मतलब allocate time for each task, right? Put everything on your calendar. If not on your calendar, don't do it. Anything which you don't put it in a calendar, put it in a notepad or in the to-do list. आप उस काम को मत करिएगा. Don't do that work because that is not in your priority list for that particular day, right? Create a to-do list daily will help you manage your work. Creating mind में you have all those things what you want to do, but putting it on a piece of paper in front of you, keeping it in front of you, will keep on reminding you that the particular task is pending for you. As in when you finish the task, put a tick on it or strike it that task is completed, will help you manage your work, and you see that slowly day by day you are improving on कितना टास्क आपने कंप्लीट किया. हो सकता है when you do it for the first day you may end up doing 4 out of 10. As you progress you see yourself improving day by day. किसी दिन 4, किसी दिन 6, किसी दिन 8, किसी दिन all the 10 tasks you will complete. So by practice, by experience, you will be able to manage the time with all the to-do list with you in front of you, right? Starting from waking up in the morning, what are your plan? Put it in the schedule, put it in the calendar. This is a reminder that मेरा आने वाला टाइम जो है पूरा डे में मुझे ये काम मुझे करना है, right? So next slide, mine 7th slide. Now improving your planning skills. So you need to plan the day yourself. Nobody is going to make your day. Nobody is going to plan for yourself. You have to do it yourself. It is your work and you have to manage it, right? So force yourself to plan every day before going to the bed. Before you are winding up for the day, plan for the next day. Next day, मुझे what are the tasks which is in my hand? Plan it for the day. Plan it. Put it in a piece of paper. Plan it that way. Write down your thoughts. Okay, what are the tasks? उस task के बारे में कुछ additional information you want to share. Put it in a piece of paper. Write down your thoughts. Uninterrupted planning time. When you are planning this activity, what are the tasks which you have to do it for the next day, do not get interrupted or distracted. Start and end, don't get up before ending that plan, right? And then use post-it notes, like चिपकाने वाला stick notes आता है, or you can put it in the piece of paper and highlight it. Anyway, whichever way is convenient to you. You don't have to spend special money for this, buying this thing and that thing. जो भी available resource है, with that only you can plan these to-do list, right? Begin the day with a plan review. Before starting the day, just go through the to-do list once. What are the activities? कितना time आपने block किया है? Just read it through once and visualize and anticipate problems. What it could be? Visualize. किसी काम को करते हुए you may face some difficulties, you may have faced some problem. उसको पहले से ही सोच कर रखो, एक काम करने के लिए मुझे ये प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है, उसको किस तरीके से I will resolve it. तो आप मन में ही रिहर्सल करना शुरू कर दो, किस तरीके से उसको मैं सॉल्व करूंगा. एंड देन कॉन्टिजेंसी प्लान्स. अगर आपने एक प्लान किया है और किसी का काम करने के लिए, if plan A fails, do I have a plan B? अगर plan A सक्सेसफुल नहीं है, plan B आप लाना है so that वो टास्क आपका कंप्लीट हो जाए. You need to have alternative ways. Now, for example, you need to go to Gurgaon from Delhi for a meeting. It's a rainy day. आप रेगुलर रूट लेते हो, उस रूट में जाने से वो गूगल मैप दिखा रहा है, यू विल टेक मोर देन what is expected. 1 घंटे की जगह 1.5 घंटे में पहुंचोगे. You may have to, what is exigency plan क्या है? उस रूट को छोड़ के दूसरा रूट क्या हो सकता है जिसके मैं 1 घंटे में पहुंच जाऊं. You need to make that kind of switch between the plans. Plan A, plan B का switch करना पड़ेगा आपको. Prevent actions of people, material and mechanical failures. All these things are anticipated. हो सकता है किसी काम में रुकावट आ सकती है, but you see how you can overcome those problems in order to finish your activity. So the tip number 1 is planning. Planning by writing a to-do list, right? Most of you must be doing it. अगर एक दिन भी छोड़ जाते हो, भूल जाते हो, then it becomes difficult. You make it a practice so that at the end of the day, maybe 1 month and 2 months, you'll become an expert in planning your activity and try to improve that so that your productivity is at all the time 80%, 90%. I may not say 100% achieve hoga in a day, but you can easily achieve 80 to 90% of the task what you had planned, right? Next slide, Mike. Now, tip number 2, what I will say is, turn off all the notifications. Many of us these days are easily getting distracted to Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or WhatsApp, everything, right? So those are distractions and cause hindrances at work, right? बार बार वो मैसेज आता है, मैसेज जब आता है तो रिंग बजता है. Either you put it in mute, right? Turning off notification का मतलब म्यूट में डालो so that you don't get distracted with what is being displayed on the screen. And even calls also you can put it on answering with the answer so that I'm not ready to take the call now, I'm into some important work. You put the message there. Otherwise, if it is an important call from your boss or from family, some emergency, you can pick that. Otherwise, turn all these notifications, like all these distractors in a off mode or a mute mode. Next slide, mine. Mobile phones are a major distractors. कभी ना कि कोई ना कोई कॉल करता है. इतने जंक कॉल्स आते हैं मेरे पास, more than 20 calls I get. Take this bank का credit card, उसका credit card, this and that. So all these are time wasters. We can't be answering all the calls we receive. Put it on a silent mode, and they are really an hindrance to our work, right? Put off the desktop notification. Even जब भी mails आता है, mail दिखाता है you have a new mail, उसको भी off कर दो for some time till the time your work is not complete. Like other distraction could be your Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. उसको भी you put it on a mute mode. And these are distractors and time wasters. And unless and until you have completed the work, don't even indulge in seeing the messages on Twitter or Insta. आप काम खत्म करो. Maybe for a refresher you can go see the messages, but जब तक काम नहीं पूरा होता, don't look into these apps, right? Next slide, Mike. Now, third tip I would say, pick a single thing to focus on. Now, out of the 10, first planning क्या था आपका? To do list बनाना, right? To do list के बाद that 15 task आपने लिखा है for the day और 12 task आपने लिखा है for the day, उसमें भी you may have certain priority things, right? उसका जो 10th point लिखा है आपने ये काम करना है, that could be your फर्स्ट इन द लिस्ट. मेरा सबसे पहले काम मेरा ये होना है. आउट ऑफ द 10 टास्क आप उसको रैंकिंग दे दो, कौन सा काम मेरे पहले करना है, सेकंड, और आइदर यू पुट इट इन 1 2 3 4 फॉर्म और ABCD. उसको रेटिंग करो अकॉर्डिंग टू देयर ऑर्डर ऑफ प्रायोरिटी. किसको मुझे पहले करना है, किसको बाद में, कौन सा सबसे नीचे जा सकता है. सो प्रायोरिटाइज योर वर्क एज पर द ऑर्डर, राइट? Next slide, Mike. Prioritize that one thing to do first. Put that on the top of the list. Finish it before you pick up the next. वो काम खत्म करके आप उसको next काम अपना pick कर सकते हो, right? Move on to the next one, Mike. Now the prioritization. What is prioritization of task here is doing first thing first, right? Prioritization as a process is evaluating the group of items. You have many tasks. What are the items here? The task. And ranking them in the order of importance. उसके importance कितना important है वो काम, उसके हिसाब से उसके ranking करो, so that you will end up doing the important task first and then उसी order पे आप उसको finish करोगे. And urgency, right? Important काम or urgency, whether it is urgently to be completed or not, based on that you will prioritize. These are some of the points which you will use for prioritizing the task, right? आपको पता होना चाहिए इनमें से, इन 10 में से कौन सा मेरा प्रायोरिटी वर्क है. वो कैसे डिसाइड करोगे? वो इस तरीके से डिसाइड करोगे whether that काम is urgently complete करना है और इम्पोर्टेंट है, राइट? उन दोनों को ध्यान रखते हुए यू नीड टू प्रायोरिटाइज थिंग्स. द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड इज 13th slide. So I'll do one thing today. You need to prioritize based on the priority list. You will do that. When you look at the task list, pick up a single thing to focus for that particular day. अगर वो बहुत बड़ा काम है, important काम है, पूरा दिन भी लग सकता है, you can keep aside the other work and focus only on that particular task. It could be one big task you really want to get done, right? Do not keep the focus away unless and until that work is not done. Okay? Hope my pace is okay, Mike. Am I going too fast?
No, ma'am, it's okay. But I think your camera is off.
It's off. On किया हुआ है. 1 second.
Yes, ma'am, you are visible now. It's working.
Yeah. So choosing a single task or idea to focus on can be a good way to remind yourself to stay on the track. Okay. Don't get distracted till the time you finish the task. So that is the prioritized work, important work, and urgent work, right? Okay, next slide, Mike. Move on to the next one. Now, managing the task, there are 4 principles to it. 4 Ds of, we call it 4 Ds of productivity. Do, delegate. Delegate का मतलब जैसे बॉस डेलीगेट करता है कोई काम अपने सबऑर्डिनेट्स को, अपने टीम मेंबर को. डेलीगेशन इज आप एक टास्क को उठा के अपने टीम में से किसी और को उसको डेलीगेट करने के लिए. देन डिले इट. डिले, आज जो करना है उसको डिले करके आप कल कर दो. डिलीट, अगर वो कम इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है, अर्जेंट नहीं है, उसको अपने लिस्ट में से हटा दो. सो वी फॉलो दीज 4 प्रिंसिपल्स while prioritizing the work, that is, put it in a 4 quadrant चार बॉक्सेस में हम डाल के उसको एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं. दैट इज कॉल्ड टाइम मैट्रिक्स. Now time matrix में it tells whether it is urgent or on the x axis you have important and less important. On the y side you have urgent and less urgent. If you see first quadrant, urgent and important, right? जो काम urgent है, important है, उसको priority दे दो, उसको सबसे पहले खत्म करो, right? Important, less urgent है, उसको schedule करो, थोड़ा सा defer करो, delay करो, बाद में करने के लिए, राइट? जो अर्जेंट है वो लेस इंपॉर्टेंट है. इंपॉर्टेंट इतना नहीं है लेकिन अर्जेंट है, उसको आप डेलीगेट करो. आप उसको मतलब आप फोकस ऑन अर्जेंट एंड इंपॉर्टेंट, राइट? जो अर्जेंट है नहीं है बट इंपॉर्टेंट है, सॉरी, जो अर्जेंट है इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, उसको आप दूसरों को डेलीगेट करो. जो लेस अर्जेंट है, लेस इंपॉर्टेंट है, उसको लिस्ट से डिलीट ही कर दो. I will explain to you with an example, right? If you see this, suppose a baby is crying. You have a small baby, बहुत रो रहा है. That is urgent and important for you to check why he is crying. Whether he is hungry or he is bitten by some insect or he is suffering with some pain or something, you need to attend to that task immediately. Or kitchen on fire, that is again an urgent and important task which you need to attend immediately, right? Now important है but not urgent है, क्या है? Exercise. Going for everyday morning walk and doing exercise is important for your health but not urgent. अगर एक दिन मिस भी हो गया, it's okay, you can compensate it for the on the next day or next. And planning a vacation, that again you can postpone it, delay it for some time, right? Urgent है but not important. Interruptions. You are in a business meeting, some important client has come to see you. You cannot come out of the meeting, you can delegate it, you can put calls. So you're on a different call, दूसरा लाइन पे आपका कॉल आ रहा है, इंपॉर्टेंट क्लाइंट है वो भी, उसको आप डेलीगेट करो टू समबडी टू हैंडल दैट कॉल. उसको कॉल को डिस्कनेक्ट मत करो बिकॉज दैट क्लाइंट इज इंपॉर्टेंट, but at the same time you can delegate it to somebody so that that client is taken care of, so that he'll call you again. Say sir is busy with some other task, can you please call after 10 minutes बोलेगे तो वो दोबारा उसको 10 minutes के बाद कॉल करेगा सर को, right? And time wasters and small things, उसको आप not important or not urgent है, उसको आप हटा ही दो अपने लिस्ट में से, so that if you focus only on these three things, you will be able to manage your time well. These are some of the prioritization strategies you can use to prioritize your work in hand. The next one, set up a reward. Now, for example, मैंने आज सुबह ये सोच के आया था, I need to finish a task. अगर आपका काम सक्सेसफुली कंप्लीट हो गया है, यू कैन पैट योरसेल्फ, अपने को शाबाशी दे सकते हो, एक पैकेट कैडबरीज लेके खा सकते हो, एक अच्छा सा बढ़िया सा कॉफी शॉप में जाके कॉफी पी सकते हो. अपने आप को आप रिवॉर्ड करोगे, थोड़ा सा आप अपने मोटिवेशन भी आपको मिलेगा एंड यू विल फील दैट यू आर बीइंग अचीव्ड समथिंग. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड माइंड. Reward yourself for completing a task. It could be like आपका ब्लॉक में पूरा राउंड लेने का सोचा है, तो just finish that one extra round for a walk or something. That is a reward you are giving to yourself for your taking care of your health. Or take some cookies or a chocolate to give it as a reward to yourself, motivating yourself. Or take a cup of coffee or a tea, go with your friends, celebrate that completing a task successfully, right? So these are some of the strategies you can use. Now the tip number 5 is, next slide mind, 19th slide. The tip number 5 says make plans. Okay, if you can't be all the time working without taking a break, make plan. Okay, to do what? Go for a short vacation, whether it is a local place or an outstation or an international outing. Okay, go for a dinner or a movie with a family to just achieve. I mean, whatever you have achieved, you want to get the recognition for that. Making a plan to do something will force you to stay more focused and more energized. You'll be more energized to take up new tasks, more and more new tasks, right? That way. So make your plans, celebrate your success. So we have seen some 5 tips so far. First tip is make a to-do list. Second tip is turn off all the notifications. Third tip is prioritizing. Prioritizing की techniques हमने देखा था. Okay, use that 4D method. Put the time matrix, right? Time matrix and number the tasks which on the list on the basis of your priority list. Then fourth is setting up a reward. Okay, give yourself some good time with outing with family or friends, and make up your plans. Go for a vacation. Free from work, 2 दिन 3 दिन छुट्टी लेके get yourself rejuvenated, energized, and come back with a full motivation, right? So from the next line onwards, I would request Roopa to call and give your inputs to the participants. Thank you so much, audience. Any questions we will take at the end of the session, right? Once the session is over. Roopa?
Charan, thank you so much for these 5 very effective tips, and I hope these are actually helping the audience. And see, this particular thing is not usually time management or how we manage the time, how do we schedule them, how do we have prioritization done. So we are not basically out here to instruct you on how to make calendars, how to make to-do lists, because it's something which everybody knows. So what we basically are today here for is just to give you the insight of these tips which will help you to make yourself disciplined to be more better with all the schedules and trackers or to-do lists which you will be following. Now, before I start with the session which is left over, I will start with the quotation. Well, the slide before So this particular quotation says very clearly, to get what you want, stop doing that isn't working. So at times it happens, we have a very basic ways of conducting a task. It could be the way that we have been a monotonous way of doing the things, of particularly drawing certain things or particularly completing certain tasks. So there would be certain monotonous type of transactions which we normally do. Now when I say monotonous, it means it became monotonous because you have been following that day on day. So at times it happens that your productivity is not happening the way it has to. जितना आपको आउटपुट चाहिए उतना नहीं मिल पा रहा है. So that means that is the time when you have to take a step back and understand where the things are not working, what is not working in your planning. So that is the reason this particular quotation is there. So looking forward to the tips, we'll come to the tips number 6, which is the next slide. I'm waiting for the next slide. Yeah. So the tip number 6 is that we're saying you should take breaks. Now when I say that, it's somewhere related to the previous slide which Arun was just mentioning about. Let's go to the next slide here. So taking a break out here is basically that in a particular time period, for example, आपने एक दिन का to-do list बनाया है, आपने 10 चीजें लिखी हैं, चाहे 4 चीजें लिखी हैं. उन 10 चीजों में, उन 4 चीजों में आपने ये भी लिखा है कि ये काम मुझे आज कंप्लीट करना है. But have you also mentioned when will you take a break? It's very important. It's very important for your mental upkeep as well as for the physical upkeep. हम नॉर्मली देखते हैं लोगों के बिजनेस कैलेंडर्स या गूगल कैलेंडर्स भरे होते हैं काम से. So this is the meeting I have to attend, this is the project I have to end, this is my deadline, this is the subject I have to complete, this is the experiment I need to complete. So these are certain things which we normally do, right? But are we really calendarizing our breaks also? That's very important. So when I say breaks, it means it could be a 10-minute break where you want to really leave everything on your table or on your workplace and want to move out for a fresh air, maybe a tea break. Maybe you want to just focus on something else apart from the work which you have to really do, which actually helps your mind and your body to regain again. So when I say regain again, it means rejuvenated so that when you come back to your workplace, you are more focused. Okay, and it really helps. I tell you why it really helps, because when we take a break, at times people do what? They take a break, they go out, they have a cigarette, or they have a tea or a coffee with a particular mate or a buddy, and then they're still talking on phone at that time. So that is not a break at all. Break is basically when you are not concentrating on the work at all. You are actually away from your work, from your mind, and you are giving your physical sense, your physical body, a particular relaxation time, which is really, really important if you need to really focus on what your deliverables would be for the day. So that is what basically this slide says, that you need to schedule your breaks in your calendar. You need to clear your mind. You need to become more focused because of that clearness. And it's better that it is better basically for your body to have the circulation done, right? So coming to the next tip, yes ma'am. Tip number 7 says, do something unrelated. So when I say that do something unrelated, it means your to-do or your calendar has got, let's say, 4 to 10 items. Now, when you take a break or when you really wanted to peace your mind, you need to take up a task which is not a part of your to-do. It could be anything. It could be a particular just roaming into your garden, or maybe you're going and talking to somebody who's not from your work profile. Okay, it could be any such thing which actually relaxes and makes yourself little bit stress free. So remember one thing. Today we all actually are going through stress. Okay, we always say that this disease is there to us, and because of stress this is increasing. So remember from where the stress comes. The stress comes because we are not organized on our time. We are not managing our time well. If I know that I have to complete these 2 primary things today, and I need to relax because this will be done and it will be off my mind, obviously you will not be stressed. So whether it is a personal affair or whether it is a professional affair, we need to take the charge of it. So taking charge, accepting that this needs to be done today, and implementing it will really actually make your stress a little bit to be downhill, right? So when I say do something unrelated, it would be anything from any of your surroundings. It is not defined anywhere. We cannot give you a list of things which you can do, because you know your environment, you know your surroundings. So it's better that you look forward what actually gives you that relaxation. It could be your garden, it could be your plants, maybe 2-3 plants only you may have kept at your place, but looking at them, just taking care of them gives you the relaxation. So that is what basically unrelated things would be. Yeah. Next slide please. Next, when I say it's tip number 8, it's basically no delete key. So when I say no delete key, what do I mean by this? Okay, at times what happens, I've always been talking about stress. So stress also increases when we try to make certain things on time and to be very perfect in it every time. We always have that assumption that I can do best. I am the perfect person who can do this task in a very, very good sense. And this is the first time I am doing it, I am thoroughly doing it. I appreciate that. But you should also start accepting the failures. We should know how to accept the failures. So when I say failure, it doesn't mean a failure of life or a failure of a particular project. It's something over a very big deal which we are creating. It's typically means. So for example, let's take a small example of a kid, and a kid is trying to draw something on a drawing book. Now, that drawing will be perfect only if he practices day on day, and with a particular compassion and generosity. If you are not putting that passion and generosity all time in a particular drawing, the kid will never get it through, right? It happens with us also. So for example, if I have to today take a session and I have to create this particular slide, if I am doing this particular creation of slides 1 hour before the session, I would be zapped. I would not be able to give the actual output which I really wanted to justify this session. That means I need to plan whenever I committed for the session from that day itself. With that, I get a window to plan it properly, to prepare it, and also I can actually distribute it to my friends, all my partners, all my batchmates, who basically can give me some creative feedback saying that this is what you can improve upon. This is something which is not required. So basically, what are we trying to do here? We are not even creating our own thoughts into the pictures, but we are also inviting other creative thoughts so that we can learn from them. So when I say no delete fee, it means try, and try. You may not be perfect in the first case, but you will get succeeded once you know how to actually get into the things. So if you are actually writing a content, if you are actually making a graphic for the first time, it may happen that your content is not perfect. You have written a content which is not coming very perfect, but write it down. If you are not writing it down, nothing will come perfect. You will not know what mistakes you are creating. Okay? And what type of improvement areas are there in the content which you are having. So till the time we are not putting it together, we are not bunching the things together, we cannot get the perfect outright of the things. That is what basically this particular thing means, and it also depends upon how we are prioritizing. As we have already seen in the previous session, prioritization is the key for the complete management of time. Right? Next slide here. Yeah. Now the concept is, tip number 9 for it is no multitasking. So I know a lot of people will be disagreeing on this point. Certain people will agree, and there are people who will say, oh, we can do multitasking very effectively. So what is the big deal? How multitasking should not be done? Okay. Well, I understand multitasking today. We are in a verge of the life where we have multiple things to do. We are into multiple roles. We wear a lot of multiple hats on our head, and we actually go through a lot. But when we talk about multitasking, remember, our brain is not tuned like that. We are scientifically not created to do multitasking. So if you really attempt at multitasking, if you're doing at one time multiple things, I'm talking about again, at one time multiple things, you may fall onto the cracks. Okay? So scientifically, we as a human being are not devised like this, that we can at one time think of multiple things and still get an effective output out of it. So we need to always focus on a particular thing from where we require maximum productivity of the day. So we need to identify in our list of things what will give me the maximum productivity today. Okay? So with that will only help you to be focused. And very important thing is, as we have already seen, we need to identify our distractions, get rid of it, and definitely focus on the deadlines which we are actually talking about. So once we know that we cannot give 100% to every task which we are planning at one particular time, okay, that will help us accept that particular thing and slice out the time in our calendar so that we can be effective at every task, but at different times, when we know that we can now perform this task 100%. So that is the take of this particular point. Next slide, please, ma'am. The last and not the least, I would say, is document processes. So when I say document processes, it very simply, I think somewhere down the line the name suggests what is meant by the process, okay? And when we talk about the document processes, it fairly means that you can record all the tasks the way you do. So for example, today I know how to write the content, or today I know how to draw a particular figure, and I'm an artist. Okay, I know that there is a particular way of drawing certain things. Maybe a graphic artist, and there are certain steps which we need to perform as a basic fundamental steps every time when I go and make a particular graphic. Okay, so what we are doing actually today, we know know there are certain things which you need to really do every day. Okay, there will be a lot of things which are everyday tasks. Okay, maybe in the professional or maybe in the personal life. Right? We have to understand at one point of time we have to little bit slow down our life, take a step back, and jot down and document or record all those tasks, the way it is being done, the processes which we follow, and the complete flow chart of how the particular task is being done. So whether it is a working person or a non-working person, whether a person is a homemaker or not a homemaker, this applies to everyone. Okay. So today, if I have to make a project report, I know there are certain integrities which needs to go inside it. Okay, and this is the same thing which I need to do every time I make it. So there is a process, there are certain steps which I do. So better is write it down, okay, and that will give you the complete idea. Whenever you come to the same task again, you will just go to the particular process guidelines which you have made, and you will be able to start with that work. That is one advantage of it. The second advantage would be if you have an extended team. So for example, today you have a friend of yours who helps you in making that project, or maybe there would be a team member whom you have appointed for your work. Okay, now you need to make that person understand what is the actual task. Now if you have that process with you, if you have that task list or the steps with you, you will just hand over that complete thing and dedicate the work to that particular person. So it will be more easy and it will be more organized. Everything will be in writing and people will understand by just taking those steps again and again with those writings which you have done or documented. So with this, we are not even, that's an effective delegation process as well. Also, we are managing our time efficiently. So this is what basically is document processes all means out here. So we are already done the complete top 10 tips which we think is very, very vital and important for you to understand. There would be certain other strategies and tips definitely today, and we know we may be practicing, we may be implementing. We are not saying that these are the 10 different tips which is the Bible for you. No, we are not saying that. We are saying if you follow any of it, we are also not saying that follow every bit of these particular processes. If you follow any of it effectively and religiously with a consistent mindset, I think you will be there. Your productivity will be 100%. Yeah? Next slide, please. Yeah. So looking at, we were talking about multitasking, so definitely I really wanted to mention this particular Pareto Principle. I think a lot of you might have already gone through it a lot of times, but this is just a repetition of it. As I said at that particular point of time, that when you identify one task which is basically giving you 80% or maybe the 100% productivity of your work, that basically defines the productivity. So what is the Pareto Principle? Pareto Principle states that you tend to get 80% of your results from 20% of your work. That means the effort is just 20%, but you are actually getting the productivity of 80%. And how do you get that? Again, prioritization comes into play. You may have a list of 5 things or 10 things. You need to drill it down, be ruthless, be little selfish, and just understand that these are the 2 things which I need to do today and get 80% of my productivity for the day. So that is what Pareto says, and I think a lot of us really work on that principle, and this is just a revision of it. Next slide, please, Sarah. Yeah, so this slide is basically the review of what we really wanted to talk about in this complete session. Our review summary slide, which says that your goals should be very clear. You need to set your goals first of all. If you're not having those goals which are smart enough to be implemented, then definitely we are already using this particular value. So set the goals, prioritize and organize as much as you can. Okay, learn when to say no. So when I say learn when to say no, it basically means we should be aware of the time, the task to which we are saying no, to the person whom we are saying no. It's not that learn to say no, it's learn when to say no, right? It's very, very important thing. People normally tend to say, I'm learning to say no. It's not that. It's basically that you have to evaluate कि आपके लिए क्या अच्छा है, आपका दिन में आपका आउटपुट क्या आने वाला है, इस चीज को करने से मेरा टाइम वेस्ट होगा या ये काम करने से यहाँ जाने से मेरा टाइम पूरा बर्बाद होने वाला है. You need to identify that because you are the controller of yourself, right? Concentrate on the task at your hand. First, consider your personal prime time. That is the reason work-life balance comes into picture. You should know how to balance the work as well as your personal life, and that can only be done again with this particular prioritization or time management techniques. And definitely celebrate the success. So once you have implemented very effectively these particular strategies, you get daily certain small successes. You know, if today from 4 items I am achieving 1 item of a day at an effective pace, that is my success. So we should know how to celebrate it, how to actually rejuvenate ourselves through that. Right, next slide please. So as we are on the verge of ending the session, so I would like to say here that being successful doesn't make you manage your time well. Okay, every successful person may not be aware how to manage the time. But when you manage your time, when you are aware of this, managing your time, definitely will make you successful. That definitely is there. If you know how to organize, how to manage, how to prioritize, the success will always be there. So that's how the prioritization, managing the time really works. And remember, every day is not the same. And this type of strategizing or practicing will be a very, very tough thing. It's not easy. Making a to-do today may not give you that prioritization or planning effectively. Today you have made it. कल हो सकता है आप नहीं बना पाए because of n number of reasons. Okay? हो सकता है आपने अगले दिन फिर बनाया. तो हर दिन सेम नहीं रहता है और जरूरी नहीं है आज अगर आप परफेक्टली काम कर पाए तो अगले दिन आप कर पाएंगे. हो सकता है नहीं भी कर पाए. So you don't have to lose the hope. That is what consistency requires. So we need to be consistent in what we are doing so that we can get that productivity which we are able to. So that ends this session, and now our platform is open for the question and answers. I have seen people raising their hands. You can please put your questions on the chat box or chat window so that we can pick it up and probably we can try to answer the queries if you have any. You may also like to share any recommendation, feedback, or probably any type of suggestions which may help us to take these sections more effectively in future. You want us to add, delete, modify anything, any particular strategy, or probably certain things which we have not took as a part of the session, we welcome you all for that also.
Thank you, Roopa ma'am. Thank you, Rajalakshmi ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Please continue. You were saying something.
Yeah, or they may also share if they are following any of these techniques to prioritize their work or managing their time. They may share if they have seen success. They may share it with others also. Yeah.
So if there are any things which you are already following as a part of time management strategies and it has given you very good output and made it effective, please do share that also with us.
So if anybody has any question, query, or if they want to ask anything, so they can unmute themselves and ask.
Yes, we are waiting here. Okay, if there are no questions as such, then at least share your feedback. Like, how did you like the session? And what did you like the most? Then we can hear you.
Also, I would like to inform our attendees that we are also scheduled with 4 more sessions with Roopa ma'am and Rajalakshmi ma'am. So yes, so please you can write your suggestions, whatever you have, if you want to improve, if you want us to improve something. So we are open for your suggestions as well. I have mentioned my email ID, and also you have my contact number. I have mentioned in that email. So yes, we are open for suggestions as well. You can write to us.
I think
Mine, somebody is asking, is there attendance link for this session?
No ma'am, we have saved the attendees list.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So we have 15 minutes more. We are here to hear from you.
People are typing, ma'am.
Yeah. Somebody, Rajshri, they says thank you. Thanks. Okay.
Most welcome, Shadi Khan.
Thank you, Shobha. Yogita. So anything about the pace of the talk, you want to slow, English, Hindi, anything you wanted to give the feedback, because we'll be there for the next 4 sessions. This will help us to change our mode of delivery. Yeah.
Thank you, Yogita. There is lots of learning. Thanks for that. Very informative session. Shweta said this. Thank you, Shweta. Vishwajit is saying thank you, ma'am, for the encouraging session. You're most welcome. Tripti is writing thank you. It's a wonderful session. Thank you so much, ma'am. Rajalakshmi and ma'am Roopa. Thank you. You're most welcome, Tripti. PT is saying that has learned a new point, which is documenting the process. I really appreciate that. So this is a good takeaway, PT. I really appreciate that. Swapna is saying, very nicely presented. Most welcome. Tanvi, thank you so much.
Okay, could you throw some light on no multitasking, as many a time we have to, so how to avoid?
Yeah, to throw some light on no multitasking, as many times we have to show how to avoid action. Okay. So, avoidance is something which we need to decide, which we need to plan. So, avoidance can only be done if that the only idea behind having no multitasking is, first of all, every morning, are you aware what all things you need to do today? So it could be any petty thing. Maybe it could be going for a bath, maybe going for cooking, having your lunch ready, or maybe you have to file some report, send some email, make a project report. It could be anything. So are you really working on making that schedule in your head or in your paper that yes, this is what I need to really do? So if you know that, obviously when you make a to-do list, I don't know how many people really make a to-do list, know how to make a to-do list. To-do list is not nothing. It's not like jotting down 4 different items. ये आज करना है तो ये 4 चीजें मैंने लिख ली है. कब करना है, कितना टाइम उसमें देना है, उसके लिए मुझे क्या स्किल चाहिए, क्या मुझे करना है या मुझे किसी से करवाना है, ये सब चीजें भी आपको सोचनी है जब आप टू-डू लिस्ट बनाते हैं. जब आप एक प्लानर बनाते हैं, सिर्फ लिखने से नहीं है कि टुडे आई नीड टू सबमिट माय प्रोजेक्ट रिपोर्ट. उस प्रोजेक्ट रिपोर्ट के लिए अगर आपको 2 लोगों की हेल्प चाहिए, क्या आपने वो काम कर लिया और वो किस टाइम तक बन जाना चाहिए, 2 घंटे में या 1 घंटे. सो इफ यू आर नॉट एबल टू डू दैट फॉर अ पर्टिकुलर डे, then how to do the multitasking. You are not effective, right? So multitasking is avoidable. I hope I have answered your question. Rita is saying informative session. Thank you so much, Rita.
Somebody wants a session on content management.
Yeah, my voice is a feedback to you, so obviously.
Yeah.
align that?
Yes, ma'am, noted.
Okay. Okay, Swapna Mishra is saying, please share the link of the recorded sessions and advise us when the next sessions are done. Of course,
Mind will inform you. You will share the link for the next session.
Rupali, Smriti, Swapna, thank you so much for your appreciation.
Okay, so I think there are no questions coming up from audience. So I would like to thank our audience to join that session, and also thank you Rajalakshmi ma'am, Roopa ma'am for this wonderful session.
Thanks.
Next session we have scheduled on coming Wednesday. So I would like to inform you this, and that will be on soft skills, right? So you guys can join, and as I said, you can write us your suggestions, whatever you need or whatever you expect from our sessions. So yes, we can see that and we can apply that. So thank you so much.
Here, Maya, one thing that going forward, if the audience are attending the next session with us, I would appreciate that they will also mention to us with their feedback or key takeaway from the session. What type of learning they had from the session. See, we are not here to make you train or learn in 1 hour. Okay, 1 hour is not enough for it. But yes, if you have got an insight or something, please mention that key takeaway, that what from this session onwards you will be able to include it or you will start implementing in your daily life. That's very important. So otherwise your 1 hour is wastage with us. Okay? Thank you so much.
Definitely, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Yeah.